This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel Wallach.
We were born ready.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room and invite all of you who are watching the stream to join us here live in our Zoom room by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. We also would like you to go to dailywithdoc.com and check out the website. Sign up for the newsletter. But what I wanted to say was send us an email, questions at or info@dailywithdoc.com, and let us know that you would like to continue to be part of our Zoom audience, as some changes are going to be happening, changes for good, folks. My name is Becca Dukes. As a certified holistic health coach and also a certified naturopathic practitioner, it is my honor to be a resource to an amazing community of people who are looking for better options, not wanting to rely on a chemical abundant society, because our bodies are not chemical deficient. They're nutrient deficient. And, there's a little bit of controversy when it comes to water sources, how you store your water, how water affects the body, what kinds of water. And that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today on Daily with Doc and Becca. So if you were invited by somebody specific to watch this show, make sure that you get back with them if you have any questions. And if there's no one to thank, we do have a call team of certified holistic health coaches standing by for you at 855-949-3377. Well, folks, help me welcome to the show Dr. Michael and Dr. Abby Donaldson. They are both global leaders in the holistic health, energetic medicine, metabolic healing, and advanced water science. So Dr. Michael Donaldson and Dr. Abby Donaldson, they're powerhouses as a husband and wife team, recognized internationally for their groundbreaking work in integrative health, bioenergetics, emotional recalibration, which these are some of the things we're going to have them back and sharing with us in the future, metabolic restoration, and the clinical applications of electrolyzed reduced water. So folks, together they bring to us 40 years of combined clinical experience, thousands of case studies, and a rare fusion of science, spirituality, emotional intelligence, entrepreneurship, and frequency-based healing that has transformed the lives of individuals and families and high-performance leaders worldwide. Now, Dr. Michael is lovingly known as Dr. Michael Explains and the Lifestyle Architect, where he has a degree from Liberty University. He is also a graduate of Life Chiropractic with many certifications that it could take all, between the two of them, it would take all of the show to go through all of their certifications. Now, Dr. Abby, also a chiropractor, she's a biofeedback practitioner and an energetic medicine pioneer. And she is highly sought after as an expert in the bioenergetics, emotional recalibration, frequency healing, and holistic detoxification. So, folks, they just have so much to offer, and I'm so excited and so thankful that they agreed to be on with us here on Daily with Doc. And I just want to add them to my screen here and welcome them both to Daily with Doc and Becca. Hello.
Becca, you blew us out of the water.
We want to listen to who we're speaking.
I know.
See,
So
I'm not
happy to be here.
totally like, yeah, no, I can pull it together. So,
We're good.
yeah, I see you great. Oh, no, we don't see you great over there. You are absolutely right. Let me fix that real quick. I'm glad you were having problems because, yeah, we want to see both of you. There we go.
You got the important one on. I don't mind being on the fringe.
It's gonna be a fun hour.
1 hour?
I don't know. I don't know how long it is, but
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? So, folks, this is Dr. Donaldson ×2.
yeah.
And I was super excited to meet them when I was visiting in Scottsdale recently. And just their energy is so contagious, like a smile. And I wanted to be able to share some of their knowledge with our listening audience, as they have so much to bring to the table when it does come to natural and holistic medicine and things that we can do to help our body do what it was designed to do. Right?
Yes. Exactly.
So exactly what it was designed to do. So if you don't mind, share with me a little bit, and we're going to be focusing on water today. So share with me a little bit about your experience and background and training that has to do with how we can choose the right water for us. And then we'll go into the different commonly known types of water and do some cons and pros and cons of them.
Well, we kind of started. Well, I was gonna say we kind of started in the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just education, but it was literally trial by fire. And I was gonna let you talk about that.
Yeah. So he's so good at all the science and breaking everything down so that we can all understand it. I'm gonna take you on a little journey of how we discovered the importance of water and how it really did actually save our daughter's life. So
Literally.
I do want to preface this by saying this is our experience. This is what we've with our own family, our own clients, our own patients, what we've seen around the world as we have spoken about this and shared it globally. We all do the best we can with the knowledge that we have until something else comes along. And
Well said.
I just wanted to say that at the beginning because we don't want to sound like we know it all. We're just because we don't. And as you'll see in my journey, I mean, if we hadn't have been put in this situation where we really had to dig in, I mean, it might have gone right over our head, right? So the universe always brings us exactly what we need, right? So we'll step back a second. It was 2009. I was 38 weeks pregnant, taking part 4 of national boards. I don't know why I did that, but I'm glad I did now. So I was out to here taking, the practical part of chiropractic boards. And I was like, okay, her name was Skylar. I think had we already named her? Anyway, the child, oh no, because we didn't know if it was a girl or a boy. So I was like, you got to stay in there till this is done. Then
Do not come early.
I'm an all natural girl. I grew up on an organic ranch. We love all things natural, organic. So we were having a home birth and we're right in the middle of it. And my midwife was like, oh my gosh, she like felt, she was like,
2 cords.
she was like, the cord is not pulsing. Like, we've got to get you to the hospital. So, and there's a reason I tell this part of the story. So we get the ambulance. I go downward dog for 45 minutes. And I'm just going to make this a good story because it could be boring, but you know what? You might as well have all the fun that we had. So I was literally holding her inside while my body was trying to push her out for 45 minutes. We get to the hospital. They put me on a gurney, getting ready to take me in to do a C-section or whatever. She comes flying out and laying on the gurney, and they're doing something with her over here in the corner. And the nurse came to my side and she's like, ma'am, just so you know, like, your daughter was born inside out, like all her intestines and everything are on the outside. Oh, all of her intestines and everything are on the outside. And I'm not really a big fan of hospitals anyway. So I was laying there like, are you freaking kidding me? Is this like a joke that they do like in hospitals? Like, so I was just like, oblivious. Anyway, and I look over and no, they were putting a trash bag around her intestines, trying to keep the water, everything inside. They wheeled her off to get some help. They yanked my placenta out. I started bleeding out. So they gave me Pitocin, locked it down. I know, but just a second. We have a miracle child here and they need to know about it.
Okay.
And it'll go faster. But anyway, so she was they came to Michael and said, well, we're losing Skylar. And he was like, well, I have to get my wife to go see her because it will not be okay if she does not see her child. So they put me in a wheelchair, rolled us into where she was. And as soon as we rolled in, her heart rate was like at 50, which we all know is not a good thing. So Michael was able to do some of his magic and we were able to help her energetically ramp her heart up to a point where it stabilized, and then they could take her to Scottish Rite Hospital and he stayed with her. I think I was out a whole day and then finally got to go be with her the next day. So all that to say, we were it was very traumatic entry into the world. We did a whole year at Scottish Rite, and 3 surgeries later, basically, so when the intestines come out and they're all completely inflamed like tubes because they were inside the body. So they put the intestines in a sleeve, it slowly goes back into the body, it burst. Long story short, anyway, we had to do a resection. She does not have an ileocecal valve, which is what keeps the nutrients in the small intestine. So to absorb. So
they actually did a colostomy when she was a week old.
Yeah.
That she had for months. So
the biggest issue with Skylar was keeping nutrients inside her intestines with no ileocecal valve.
Long enough
to get the nutrients out of it. So they had us using sterile, like when they
Distilled water.
they used distilled water in the hospital
Then they used it
to make her formula. And she had diaper rash that would look like meat, like literally meat. Hamburger. We had to use eyelet to cover it, and you'd literally cover it. Anyway, it was so bad. So just to set the scene, then we got home with home health care, nursing to help. She was our fourth child at that point. And so I would go to the hospital, see her in the morning, we'd go back into practice, or Michael would be in practice anyway. I would come join him in the afternoon. And so, yeah, it was just so much. Anyway, I lived on adrenals and did the biofeedback that we do.
Lots of nutrition.
Change our state, do energy, biofeedback switch as soon as I came home from the hospital so I could work on patients. Anyway, and the other thing that was really crazy was she was on forced feeds, which means she'd be on a feeding tube 24/7. And at night, you never knew when the bowel would just give out because it was full. And then she would just
everywhere
poop all over.
They called it evacuate the colon.
Evacuate the colon.
Right out over the
So
crib
vanilla
onto the floor.
poop for 3.5 years. We had that basically a shitstorm every single morning to like clean up, take her to the shower, have to clean the whole crib, like the whole deal.
Literally.
So this was
every day.
And for a long time, I didn't even want to tell this story because I was still kind of traumatized.
You've never told this story publicly, so it's a first. There you go.
I'm just setting the stage so that when you know what we've been through and we
trial by fire, all the things we learned out of necessity. Not like we were like, oh, this sounds cool, let's go to class. A lot of it we had to pioneer.
Yeah, so we'd been researching all different kinds of water because we knew water was the main thing. Oh gosh, we went through like probably 3 to 4 times where her whole body would just shut down and she'd go into acute dehydration. And so she almost died a couple times. Like she'd throw everything up, poop everything out, and then
dehydrate in front of you.
And completely dehydrate.
In front of you.
So I didn't kill her, but we almost lost her once. Anyway, with that, so it was a real issue. We had to figure out how to get this child hydrated and
to interject on that, when we left the hospital, they literally said, okay, here's your baby, go home. You need to weigh her every couple hours because if she loses 10% of her body weight, you need to call 911 and get a police escort to the hospital because they won't be able to save her with an ambulance. So the first you're going, whoa. We're already traumatized. And they're like, well, we ended up having 100 hours a week of home health care to monitor this. And the first time it happens, you're like, well, that can't happen. And I remember distinctively being like, she didn't weigh enough. We were panicking. And to watch your child literally shrivel up in front of you is traumatic. And I remember I called 911 and I said, I will be the guy in the black van. I will be doing 100 miles an hour down 75. I need a police escort to Scottish Rite. And they would and because they didn't have time and most EMTs couldn't get needles. And when you pull up to Scottish Rite and they have 10 doctors on staff and there's 10 doctors around your daughter in the parking lot pushing IVs, it's a serious day. Yeah, we've never told that story. Anyways, go ahead, finish.
So
we were looking for water.
I have chills. I can't imagine.
From the very start, obviously, just her surviving the birth, and then what happens is if they're in failure to thrive, if she's not growing, then they're in failure to thrive, and then that means if they're not growing, then they're actually dying, right? So if a child's not growing, then they're dying. So we were really at wit's end. She was 3. She'd turned 3 that summer. She hadn't grown for 6 months. And
yeah, she weighed less than she did 6 months before. That's the clinical definition of failure to thrive, because they should be doubling their weight every year for the first few years. And she weighed less.
So I'll let you take over this part because this is when a patient came in to the office.
Oh yeah. So we had been through the big issue is what's called acute dehydration syndrome, and it's about not just getting fluids into the body. It's
We tried to cut couple other water machines. Yeah. It's not like we hadn't tried like everything.
And so we went through a gamut of things. We went through what's the purest water, and they wanted to make sure there was no infection, and then they wanted to make sure that we could get it. But it's one thing to get water in your mouth and in your body. It's another thing to get it to go from your digestive tract to your cells to go through your kidneys. And she had kidney issues. She had hemorrhagic bowel, which meant she was bleeding from the digestive tract. We couldn't stop it. She wasn't absorbing any fluids or anything. And we had gone through water machines and pills, potions, hydration supplement, you name it. We had tried it. And this patient comes in and goes, "Oh, you need to try my water." And I was like, "No, we've done that." I sent her, she was a ex-pharmaceutical rep. And so we sent her home with the books to explain how pH water doesn't matter. It gets whatever you do, it gets neutralized in the intestines. It can build up calcium in the bone. I mean, there was all the research. And finally, I got the news. She had stopped in the office and gotten the news when she was on the table.
You had gotten the news from the doctor.
And like we got the phone call that we'd been waiting on last, and it was failure to thrive. And she goes, "I'm telling you, she doesn't have to suffer because you're too stubborn to try the water." And I was like, I got news that my child is dying and that's the best you can come up with. And I literally said, "Fine, bring your water in and I will run the tests in a month if she's still alive. And then you never talk to another person about this again." She showed up. We gave her the water. She brought up, "Here's Sky water. Here's Sky's water." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like 5 minutes later, I'm back to seeing patients. Like, what am I supposed to do with this news? I got so I get home from the office and I give it to Ab and I said, "I heard from the doctor," and we lost it. We cried. We did our, whatever parents do, and started giving her the water. And that was a Thursday. And she said, "You need more water on Monday because the electric charge will be gone." And I'm like, electric charge on water? This lady has lost her mind. But because it was clean, it was better than filtered water, whatever. We're like, okay, let's try it. First day, not much. Second day, okay. Third day, she used the bathroom and it didn't smell like death. We used to have the CDC and home health would come check out because she had C. diff so bad, which is Clostridium difficile. It's a biohazard. I mean,
hospital.
We had a house, and so we were getting it checked, and it was like, okay, that was crazy. And then by Sunday, her belly had lost its distension, and it wasn't just rock hard. And I'm like,
yeah,
I got to call her and ask for more water, don't I? And you went, "Yeah, you do." And I'm like, "Okay, can I get some more of your water?" And so that started the story. But then after 2 weeks, I was shaving in the bathroom, getting ready for school. And Skylar, who's 3.5, screams that there's a snake in the bathroom. And, we lived at the top of Lake Allatoona at the time. And so like water moccasin Copperhead and I go in and she literally is saying there's a snake. I'm like, "Where?" And she goes, "It's in the potty." And I'm like, "What?" And it's just right there. And I'm like looking and she goes, "It came out of my belly." It was the first time in her life she'd had a solid bowel movement. And I was like, I did what every good parent does. And I texted it to my wife. I said, "We need to get one of these water machines." And I didn't understand it. There was no research. Everything that we heard was bogus. I'll do a lot to help myself. I will move heaven and earth to save my child. So we dug into that, and that's where the research that you asked me to share came out of. Most people don't realize that true RO water is.
Are you gonna leave them hanging? So we were able to take out.
Oh yeah,
we got
6
the
months.
water in like November. We're
Yeah,
able
and
to take
6
out
months later we
Mickey
took.
Button in end of May.
Yeah, 6 months later she was off the feeding ports. She was eating food. She had gained the lost weight.
Yeah.
She was in full growth pattern. Now, was it just the water? No, we were doing everything.
Yeah.
The water was the only thing that we had done different. It was the missing piece that made digestion work, that took the inflammation out, that balanced out the bacteria in the gut. It was what created the hydration piece to get the good stuff in and the bad stuff out. But it wasn't the only thing, oh, just drink the water, you'll be fine. No, we were doing nutrition, supplements, foods. I mean, you name it, we were doing it. But the water became the catalyst that made it work. And that was a big thing. And so I somehow just vanished. Somebody put me on.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, somebody keeps, I'm on, there we go.
There we go.
And, that was a big piece. And being chiropractors, we were into health and wellness and exercise, nutrition, proper rest, all the things. And we did all the stuff. And then it clicked because it was such a dramatic difference that, in healthcare, we do so many things. But like if you eat right, you sleep right, you get the proper exercise, you eat the perfect diet with the perfect dinner supply, all those things, if you just break the human body down, we're 75% water. If you don't have the best possible water, you're missing 75% of the equation. If you do everything else correct and don't do the best possible water, you're only addressing 25% of the problem at best. So we restructured our whole practice based on, let's just oversimplify this. You're 75% water, you need the best water. What is the best food for you? What works great for me does not work great for her and doesn't work for, we delved into the blood type diets and the way bodies metabolize it, and it activates the lecithins in the body and the blood. And we got into the immune compromise and cellular nutrition. And we started to go at the body as a fine tune, not just a vehicle, but like a $4 million Bugatti. And you don't just put gas in a Bugatti. You put jet fuel in a Bugatti. And I realized that, we wanted to do that. And, we started an education program that was based on how to take the body out of endocrine stress, how to get the best water in the body, how to get the toxins out so you can get the nutrition in. Because if a cell is full of toxins, doesn't matter what you do for nutrition, it's not going to go in. So then we got into the detox piece. And then we realized, as our practice kind of diverted from chiropractic and some basic biofeedback into how does the emotional body interact with the mental body that interacts with the physical body? You can talk yourself sick, you can talk yourself well. If you just start saying, man, I feel bad today, you do that for 3 days, you're going to be down for 3 days in bed. Yeah. You literally, your body goes, oh, I should be sick now. And it's not the placebo effect. It's the way the brain regulates the body. And when you are in relationships, as we developed a really good reputation. One of the things that we discovered with the emotional recalibration was the people you're around dramatically impact you. So when one of the people that I was working on was my sister, and she ended up that I couldn't get her to balance. The man that invented the machine, ran the equipment, developed it, handed me a whole bunch of stuff to develop, and I couldn't balance her. And Lexi came downstairs, sat in my sister's lap, 3 or 4 years old.
4 or 5, yeah.
Every point immediately balanced. Because Lexi, and I'm like, baby, I need you to get off on Victoria. And she went, and I'm like, oh, cool, we finally got this balance. Hey, let me get this done. Lexi, hop off. And she hopped off on Victoria, and every point blew out. So because what makes our device unique is we can program it with more frequencies and capture. I literally captured the essence of Lexi and lasered it into my sister, and all of her points balanced. And that was the crux piece that started our emotional recalibration. And, there's always an emotional component when we deal with all of your major diseases. And you get somebody balanced, and we're the only people I know that will actually have couples hold hands and balance the equation. And you can see what they're thinking, what they're feeling, how they work with each other. And that became another piece of the protocol. So we had great education to begin with, but really what we learned through the school of hard knocks. Yeah. Like it was do or die. And to quote, what is it, Ice Age? I choose life. Yeah. Say it. I choose life. Yeah. And there was nothing I wouldn't do to help save Skylar, and that she didn't. And this lady's brought Skylar back from diabetes, I don't know how many times, because the medical grade formula is 55% corn syrup solids and smells like vanilla. So I don't eat anything vanilla anymore because of all those showers I took in the morning. Yeah. Just I'm good.
Wow.
So that's the how-to.
That's how we got into it.
That's how you got into it. So you had talked about, water and not realizing, knowing this about this water, this about this water. Let's share some of your knowledge about the most common types of water that people consider to be healthier. But let's first start with tap water. Okay. It goes through a city system. They put in chlorine, they put in fluoride. The chlorine is supposed to kill all the bacteria. The fluoride is supposed to make the teeth healthy. And lye.
They balance it to 7 with lye.
7.0
to get it. So yeah.
So it doesn't corrode the pipes.
So it doesn't corrode the pipes, but what does it do with our body?
Yeah, you realize America is in an obese health crisis, right? Yeah, it totally destroys the body by getting it 75% of it wrong. So it's terrifying to me when I meet people that actually drink tap water. Like, they just get it. I mean, we grew up and it was like, you drank from the hose in the middle of the summer.
Make their pasta and potatoes and things like that in tap water. Well, we drink bottled water over here, but yeah, I make my pastas. So they just took all the nasty things out of the water, sucked it into the pasta and the potatoes and stuff like that, and then fed it.
Anyway. Yeah, if you get chlorine drops or something, and I've got videos online where I've done it for people, but if you take tap water and you squeeze chlorine drops into it, you can see it turn just violently bright yellow. And then you can take an apple, you can slice it up, or a potato or whatever. You can put your fingers in the water.
We used to do tests where you have people put their finger.
In 60 seconds, you put the chlorine drops in the water. It's all gone. It's been absorbed into the foods,
into the body,
or your body. And so
most
people
touch
with
a hot tub now with chlorine,
people
all
with
that stuff.
Thyroid issues, when we were dealing with, for instance, we had a lot of intense medical conditions that we worked with, and one of the things that we said is one of the worst things you can do is bathe. I don't know if anybody here's had your thyroid checked, but the number one contribution to reduce thyroid is actually the chlorine in the water, because chlorine is a halogen that acts as a competitor to the binding site for iodine in the thyroid. So by bathing, swimming in pools, sitting in hot tubs, going to the local pools, drinking tap water, foods cooked in tap water, you're actually bringing the chlorine into your body that causes your thyroid to shut down. Well, now you're talking about an endocrine crisis, because your body, we're like coffee, energy drinks, push the adrenals that steal from the thyroid, that steal from the, testes and the ovaries, that stress the thymus and break down digestion. Well, you just have taken out the thyroid because it's just shut down, because it doesn't have any iodine to work, because it's bound up with they can't get iodine in, because it's all the binding sites are locked with chlorine. So bathing becomes an issue. So we got filtration for the shower units. My hair was falling out like crazy. We went to a friend's house and got a shower, and they're like, it's just a filter. And it was, no, it's a Japanese hot spa is really what it is. But in 7 days, my hair stopped falling out, and I'm like, sold. And he was on a well. So tap really dangerous, not just to drink, but to bathe in. It's crazy.
Now you mentioned well, and I know with my farm up in Washington, it's on a well. We don't add chlorine, we don't add fluoride. It has a whole house system. I actually check it quite often.
Good.
Do you have the whole
and it was high in nitrates. Huh?
Do you get, you can go to most any local college, and they will do their science department will do a water test for you. You can reach out. I think it's on faucets. But what happens is, we've had people high in the mountains of North Carolina, which has great water, came out of the ground at like 8.0, 9. It was amazing. 2 months later, we're up there, we check it. It was 3.0. Because of all the fracking and outgassing, it's really contaminating the watershed and the aquifers. It's really done some crazy stuff.
Yeah. So I would just keep checking wells.
So anybody we know that
Yes,
has a well
would be generally better than city water, but I would just keep checking it because you never know.
Yeah, one of the, most people don't realize how much arsenic they can get in well water. I did not have a clue. I thought, oh, well water is great for you. Not actually. You make sure you monitor it and check it.
Right. And that's one of the things
these days. You have to check the land you go to grow your organic garden in these days.
Yep.
It could have, who knows?
Lord knows.
Yeah, I couldn't grow organic there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we've talked about tap water, we've talked about well water. How about bottled water? And with bottled water, you've got spring water, you've got filtered water, you've got distilled water. Let's talk about bottled water and plastic bottles specifically.
All bottled water.
The plastic is the number one bad.
I would love to tell you that when you go to the freshwater spring and they just stick it in the spring and they fill the jug and they send it, yeah, that would be a felony and they would be shut down by the FDA. All spring waters, fountain waters, natural waters are all RO water because they want to filter out whatever's in there and make sure there's no bacterial contaminant. RO water, back in the day, they were all like, oh, everybody just distilled water. You want pure H2O. Pure H2O has a pH that's about 1.8 to 2.2.
Acid.
It's a very, very, it's known as nature's solvent. It erodes rocks, it erodes landscapes, it destroys it. That's what it does, but then it picks up the minerals and then it becomes more alkaline. When you get into, they kind of steered away from distilled water. And if you look at the medical research, when you drink distilled or RO water, it's 2 weeks max because you shouldn't actually ingest it because it strips all the minerals, all the salts, all the electrolytes from the body, minerals, vitamins, all of it. And so, if you took just distilled water, and my chiropractor had a distiller for years growing up, and we'd get a gallon every once in a while, but you only do it for 2 weeks at a time because you can put the body into shock. You want to use it for detox. A lot of people talk, well, I have an RO machine. Well, one, you're stripping it down and then you're adding insoluble minerals back in to buffer it so that it doesn't erode things. But now you're getting a calcium, magnesium, potassium buildup in your cardiovascular system in your kidneys to make RO water drinkable. So, and if you look at California,
MS, all these neurological.
Yeah, your MS, your Parkinson's, anything that's got depleted hydrogen from the neurological standpoint, it's stripping the minerals out of your bone matrix because it will consume the calcium from, when you drink soda, for instance, if you drink 1 can, we'll just say, what is it? Perrier, sparkling water. It takes 2 to 4 teaspoons of baking soda to make that turn from 2.0 to 7.0 pH. It takes 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which is calcium bicarbonate. So when you drink that, your stomach dumps 2 to 3 teaspoons of calcium bicarbonate into your stomach to dilute the acidity of that in order for it to go into your digestive tract. Well, where's it getting the calcium from? Well, it's initially out of your bloodstream, but in order to maintain the buffer of your pH in your bloodstream, it takes that out of your bone matrix to maintain your levels of calcium in your bloodstream to make your body function. That's
carbonic acid in all
soda, coffee, tea,
drinks.
wine, sugars, all your sweet drinks, your alcohols. There's a buffering component that goes into that, and it's the cause of rapid onset osteoporosis, things like that. You can go into just go to NIH or PubMed and type in, RO water osteoporosis. I showed you the other day and you're like, wait, what? And it was, it depletes the matrix and that leads to rapid onset osteoporosis.
And you mentioned sparkling mineral water as well.
Yeah, it's acid.
Yeah, when you test it with the drops, it's pure acid. And so like even all those, so that back in the day, when we were getting patients off of sugar and aspartame and sucralose and all the bad sweeteners, and okay, so just don't drink a Coke, just go drink some LaCroix or something like that. It would be so much better.
That's
And
what
then
we thought.
that's what we thought. So there's no
Knowledge grows.
judgment. It's like, and then we were like, did all these tests with the drops and saw like even sugary drinks take out all your electrons right away. So then we were like, oh my gosh, we can't even do sparkling water. And then the other day I went to a client's home and they were doing all these amazing things right. And then they had the sparkling water.
The blue Saratoga bottles.
Little, nice drink once a day. And that was messing up all the rest of the water they were drinking that was good. They took that out, the Saratoga blue water, and had incredible changes just from taking that out.
One thing.
So when you do have the water, we even make our own ice cubes and everything to add.
As a perspective, I weigh 202. I am 18 gallons of water. If I drink a gallon of water a day, I can replace all the water in my body every 18 days. Does that make sense? Well, that makes me 75% healthier than I was before. Well, what happens is if you take 4 5-gallon jugs of high pH, 9, 10 pH water, and you take a cup of soda, destroys all of it.
Wow.
One cup of soda, 1 12-ounce can of soda destroys 20 gallons of water, of good water. So now you're like, well, how do I compensate for that? You just don't drink it. And then when you do, you drink a lot. Take some Tums. Tums don't do anything, but they give you the calcium that takes it from keeping from your bones. I mean, if you're going to cheat, know the rules.
Right. Now, you're sharing so much, and I know that our listeners are kind of blown away.
We should probably talk about electrons, Becca.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about electrons, but first, can we go back to plastic and what having your water in plastic does first?
Does anybody not know what that does now? Yeah,
there's a lot of people that don't know.
It literally will erode plastic. They've done saltwater tests where you can actually dissolve plastic because it so corrodes it. But there's, we've got, is it BPA or is it BPA free? How does it leach in? The easiest way you can test that is go buy the most expensive, best water you can find on a bottled water, which would be like your Essentias or your high pH waters. And then because we live in, Scottsdale, leave in the back window of your car for about 2-3 weeks, take the top off, and you can smell the plastic. Pour it into a glass and you can smell the plastic. Water is nature's solvent. It will leach out anything it can to create equilibrium.
Which brings me to something that you and I spoke of that Dr. Wallach has been preaching for 40 plus years, and that has to do with the glacial water, the glacial milk.
Yep.
As it's coming.
Glacier milk, actually, because it looks like if you took a half a cup of skim milk and put it in a 24-ounce glass and filled the rest with water, it's almost that white murky. People think hard water is so bad for you, but everybody that's, whether it's Hunsacut or in Asia, they have this high concentration, very hard water that has dissolved minerals in it that your body can use. Like it's quote unquote perfect. We'll throw it, they'll do RO and strip everything out. And then they'll try to take vitamins to get the minerals back. And you can't keep up with it because most of your calciums, potassium, got to be very particular in the way that your body absorbs it. I use a different form of calcium than she does. I'm an O, she's an AB. We have a daughter that's an A. They absorb calcium differently. And so it's not just like, oh, well, I'll just take this supplement. you know, and people do it because it saves the plumbing, it saves the piping, it saves your all that. But the reality is those countries have amazing bone structure and bone density. Phenomenal, actually.
And longer life.
Yeah, that 100-year
And
mark.
every mineral has a charge.
Yeah.
Back to electricity, the body and being.
Yes.
So we do need our minerals.
So we've got about 12,
Yes.
you said about an hour, so it gives us 12 minutes to discuss electrically.
Yeah, we got, let's have the truncated version.
So basically what happens is with Skylar, I was being pitched pH water, which I knew didn't do anything. It didn't work right. And then this water did work. And I was like, wait a second. Why did this make a difference? Well, as I started to dig into the research, I didn't do US research. I did research out of Japan, out of Europe, out of South Africa, out of India. And there was a lot of research on what's called ERW, which is electrically reduced water. And what they do is they take water and they basically zap it with a lightning strike. Have you ever been to the beach? Do you like to go to the ocean and you watch the electric and you can smell the ozone and you just lay there and your whole body goes, you're literally charging your batteries from the energy that's given off. Well, because we're bioelectric, this right here will blow you out. Your body, this will steal electrons from your body. If you spend a lot of time on a computer or in technology, you're like, man, I am just exhausted. Well, what happens is when lightning strikes water, it takes H2O and it blows it apart. So now you've got your hydrogens, you've got your oxygens, and yes, you get some H2, you get some O2, some other, you get this variety of stuff. But what happens is you get highly charged hydrogen and oxygen ions. Hydrogen, for one, charges the cell membrane and the nervous system. You probably heard, ooh, get your hydrogen bottle. It's great. It is good, but what happens with electrically reduced water is it takes and it zaps it. And because there's a plate with a positive side and a negative side, it takes all the acid minerals and acid components and dumps them out of your drinking water as the acid waste line. And then you're left with purified, more alkaline minerals with an ability to donate an electric charge to your body. So when you've seen me drinking water here, what ends up is it's like plugging your phone in. You are drinking free electrons that allow your body to heal, to walk, to think, to function, to get good stuff in and bad stuff out. And so when you deal with true electrically reduced water, it splits off and it creates an acid line and an alkaline line, and it creates a charge. And so the hydrogen, like I said, it feeds your cell membrane and it improves brain function because it works directly with the nervous system. The oxygen goes and feeds your mitochondria, which is the power plant for your body to produce energy. In the absence of enough oxygen, what happens is your body shuts down the mitochondria, the Krebs cycle. That's a step back. But basically, when you go through a full revolution of the Krebs cycle, you're getting, like, we'll just say 34 gallons of gas when it's done correctly. It's called ATP. But if you don't have enough oxygen to make the system work, or enough free electrons to make the system work, or enough hydrogen in the cell membrane to transport it, your body turns it off and burns sugar in what's called glycolysis. So the same amount of energy, you get 4 gallons of water, 4 gallons of energy versus 36. Well, if you can increase the hydrogen on the cell membrane, you can increase the oxygen in the mitochondria, you give it free electrons, you now are producing 34 to 36 gallons all the time. So your body now has a surplus of energy to focus in on healing your daily activities. If you just looked at this one can right here and you said, okay, this is all the energy I have for the whole day. Well, I need this much to get through my day. And that leaves this much for healing. Well, if you've only got your tank half full, I'm trying to get through the day. Let's push the caffeine. Now my toxic load is overburning. So you don't have the ability for the body to heal. you can get a short fuse, you get tired, you get chronic fatigue, your body's become acidic. It now stresses your adrenals, it stresses your thyroid, it stresses your hormones, it stresses your thymus, that shuts down your pancreas and it contributes to everything. And as soon as you start drinking electrically reduced water, you're doing two things. One, you're replenishing your body with really good water. But more importantly, you're not loading it up with toxic water.
Mm.
So if you thought, well, I used to drink bottled, I would drink, Perrier or whatever, Saratoga. Well, that's extremely acidic. It's going to take you a month to recover from that bottle of Saratoga if you drink a gallon of water a day. Well, as soon as you stop doing that, you've now stopped harming the system and you replaced it with something really good. Because you got to realize years ago, all of our lakes, they had a really high pH. They were getting struck by lightning. They had a high charge. When you go swim in the ocean, you feel amazing. You're ready to go out at the beach all night and like, let's go dancing. You go swim in a pool full of chlorine and you're like,
it's draining.
well,
Yes.
The chlorine has shut down your thyroid, but then it's pulled all the electrons out of you. And we can get all fancy into presentations maybe on another day if you want us to do more, but this is kind of the background of how you start to get well. And as soon as you get the best water, if you drink a gallon of water a day in 18 days, just a water fast like that, I'm exponentially healthier. I have fixed 70% of my body by mass. I'm 75% water.
So the baseline, the baseline to me of health is energy, but also the voltage, the actual voltage on the cell. A healthy cell is what, -70.
Yeah. Now you're getting into the PMF and
it's a certain voltage on the cell. So if we think about that and then think about, okay, is what I'm going to eat right now, is this adding energy to me, or is it going to take it away? Sugar absolutely strips the body of energy.
Sugars,
good salts give the body energy, like those good, Baja Gold salts, your good mineral salts, that gives the body energy,
electrolytes and all that stuff.
Is this processed food going to add energy to my body, or is it going to strip it from energy to digest it? And that's where all the sound and light and frequency, all these things work, is because they're all adding energy to the body. So if we all walked through the world and just were more conscious of that, like, that's why I go ground. I can literally work on patients and I'm like, I'm feeling a little, could use a little pick me up.
You're a little edgy. Why don't you go ground, baby?
Sit on the ground, like let go of any, energy I don't need anymore and recharge my body. There's just so many ways to raise our vibration, raise our frequency. And the fact that we can do it through drinking water too is like
there's a difference between ionized water. I just saw a comment flat through. There's a difference between electrically reduced water and ionized water. Ionized water by definition is any water that's been hit with an electric current. A lot of units will add extra minerals to shift the pH because they don't have enough voltage to actually reduce the water. You need to have enough voltage in your unit to break the water molecules apart. And when that happens, you get a free-form level of hydrogen and a hydroxyl anion, which is the OH. That increase of OH versus the hydrogen is what shifts the pH. If they're adding minerals to the water to make it work, it doesn't work. It's ionization.
Like, if it's not powerful enough to do the job on its own, then
if you
adding minerals is a cover for it not being powerful enough. Does that make sense?
And when you ionize any of your
machines out there,
when you ionize the minerals, you're now creating a charge that causes the ionized minerals to lodge in your kidneys, your heart, your cardiovascular system. They'll actually see it where the arteries turn, or it can become tortuous. They make a turn, and you're getting a calcium lay down when you drink ionized minerals, and it actually increases calcification.
Well, we have just a few minutes left here. I know AJ has a question. AJ, what question do you have for the Dr. Donaldson time too.
And you only get one.
Because I don't have a question. I have tons of questions and tons of commentary, but we don't have a lot of time. First of all, how's Skylar doing now?
She is amazing.
Show a picture.
You have the picture
I have her
from
Instagram.
homecoming.
Because that was just amazing story, and we appreciate you sharing.
You want to know, is she alive? Is she
Well, I just want to know how she's doing now. How's she doing?
Smart. Yeah, she's graduating a year early because she had enough.
She is a graduating
at 16.
junior.
Yes. Let's see.
And she water skis.
Oh yeah.
There's Lexi. Yeah.
We
There's our youngest.
that.
Skylar's 16. Yeah, she's the older one.
And then
Wow.
Sophie's our
You
little.
never know a thing.
No.
That is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
An amazing young lady.
Yeah, she's
fantastic. We loved hearing that. I need to know that. So just a couple of things. We have this product called Tangy Tangerine, right? And I'm introducing you to what we do, right? So we have Tangy Tangerine. It is probably the best multivitamin, multi-mineral product you're ever gonna see. And
you have some on the way in the mail to you now.
So Dr. Wallach is known for his plant-derived minerals.
Okay.
Nice.
And these minerals are coming from in some cases Utah. The plant-derived minerals are in. So now when we add our Tangy Tangerine to water, we often want to create a vortex so that it increases the electrical charge. So so we're working similarly. However, when we talk about the water in the fashion that you folks have brought to us today, we get a lot of pushback in our community because they don't have the deep understanding and connection that you folks have. But fine. I, in the past, have used higher pH water. I'm not sure how it was created. I'm not sure which. Not like the stuff you get in the store, but they had a machine. I used to go, I'd pay $3 for a bottle, get, a dozen at a time. I can remember being thinner, but one thing in particular, this was like 11.5 pH. I remember that number, but one thing in particular, I used to have floaters in my eye.
Yep. And
I drank this water and no more floaters. And I tell people this and they're like, whatever. So
do you want me to answer that question?
I just want you to comment on, I need you to be more part of the community because we need your knowledge and your.
So there's something you can look up that is called an aquaporin. It was discovered in 2005. They didn't even know about it when I went to school back in the last century. And an aquaporin, most people have heard of the blood-brain barrier and things like that. Well, the blood-brain barrier is 95% aquaporins, which means it can only do a hex-structured water, which is what vortexing does. But it also is hydrogen, oxygen, and there's certain things because of the way it's hydrophilic, hydrophobic, which means it will repel certain types and take certain types. If you drink, I'm not going to say any names, but any given type of bottled water, you're going to get about a 30% penetration rate across an aquaporin. Electrically reduced water is up in the 95%.
And the reason you can't bottle it is because it has a half-life
of 24 hours.
So if the charge optimally is like negative 800 ORP on the first day, the next day it'll be negative 400, the next day it'll be negative 200. So that's the reason you kind of have to have a machine. You can't just bottle it
because everything in life,
anything bottled on the shelf
is more than 4 days old.
is not holding a charge, electrical charge.
And we have meters that will check ORP and pH and all those good pieces. But so there's two types of, I got so into water, I helped develop a whole house unit, and we have a whole house unit that will do restructured water that is a vortexing unit. And the way that I describe it is if you have a 400-foot waterfall that water smashes and breaks and does all kind of things. It becomes highly ionized by coming out of a waterfall. Now you've got that pool of water and you get it struck by lightning and you disassociate it. It's called dissociated water. You create electrically reduced water that's been pre-vortexed. That's the best water you could. We helped did the research to get that set up. So now all the water in my toilets, my washing machine, my fridge, all that comes out as restructured vortex water from the can. I don't have to vortex individually. The whole thing is vortex. But then when we drink water, we're drinking water that's coming out of the machine that's been double whammied. So we've got a 400-foot waterfall struck by lightning that we drink.
Why did they get rid of my floaters?
Yeah.
Because it crosses the aquaporins of the eye. It goes in and it redoes your eyes. Now the thing is when you talk about negative water, they talk about gram staining and gram negative and this, that, and the other. There's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. You know, you want good bacteria in your gut. And most of it is when you add electrically reduced water, it creates all the positive gram study bacteria that is really bad for you. That's why I got rid of Schuyler's C. diff. When you've got bacterial in your eyes and you've got the floaters and you can exchange the water within that fluid within your eye, you get rid of floaters.
Wow. Well, I mean, we could go on and on.
Degeneration.
I think vortexing water, there's no problem with that. It's just not the same as what we're talking about. Does that make sense? I think adding some energy through vortexing is probably,
is great.
It's just.
But like when you look at the little hydrogen bottles, I have one on the shelf right back there. I love it. I use it on a regular basis.
We have a travel bottle. Yeah.
But I put if I've been using this all day and it's lost its charge, I'll recharge it with a hydrogen thing. If you just take tap water or bottled water, it activates the hydrogen, but it also activates the calcium, magnesium, any minerals or anything that's in the water. It releases and creates a charge, which makes it technically unhealthier. When you electrically reduce, you're pulling that acidic waste
the chlorine
off.
Yes. So
that's the difference between hydrogen and electrically reduced.
Well, doctors, thank you so much for coming on. We have a lot of people asking questions about how to get the water. Folks, email us questions@dailywithdoc.com. And I will get the information from the doctors so that we can send you a whole educated packet of information to help you make the decision also in getting the best water that is possible.
I will get Becca a PDF on electrically reduced water that she can send you.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Anybody and just send it whatever you need and you can see it, you can study it, you can go dig into the research. But if you look up electrically reduced water and cancer, PubMed, electrically reduced water diabetes, electrically reduced water neuroprotective, neurology, you're going to be like, why do I not know why have I never heard about it? You'll be angry because the research.
We have a doctor's manual.
We do have a doctor's manual. I created that's kind of what my company is. We took electrically reduced water to 38 countries and doctors' offices all over the world. So we can hook you up if you need it. But when you do the research yourself.
So that's part of the reason Japanese are so healthy too.
I got off a plane in Japan and everybody goes, "Oh, Michael, explain a water." Like I was like, what's going on here? They knew who I was. Like on a plane. I freaked me out. But do the research. Don't just go, I heard this guy on a podcast and he said I should drink this. No, go look it up. It's easy to do. Electrically reduced water. But pick your condition.
It's electrically reduced water.
Alkaline water, alkaline ionized water is dangerous. Electrically reduced water is what you're looking for.
And we didn't even get into the different buttons on the machine and how to No, how to
We will get to that. We will get to that.
And take the bad stuff off your fruits and vegetables.
We can get rid of diabetic ulcers and MRSA and Kripke and C. diff and all that stuff on surfaces, kills everything. So it's called electrically reduced hypochlorous acid. So lots of good stuff.
Yes, lots of good stuff. And we definitely need to have you come back because you have a great slideshow that we didn't even get to.
We didn't even get to it.
I still have 20 some questions that we didn't even get to. And we have people asking, when are you going to be back? So we will get that on the calendar, folks.
Whenever
Thank you
she
so
says.
much again for
thank you
joining
so much.
us. And again, questions at dailywithdoc.com to get that PDF and more information about getting this amazing water that the body can actually use at the cellular level.
Oh, they wanted to see our website. Do you mind if I screen share that? Let's see.
Well,
Wait, does she?
Did you want us to or not? Just the
my
website?
only thing is we're already over time.
Okay.
So we'll definitely include that on the PDF
Yeah.
so that people can take a look at it.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
It's the energeticlifestyle.com.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. energeticlifestyle.com. So awesome. Is it the energeticlifestyle.com or just energetic lifestyle?
The
Capital T, capital E, capital L. Energetic life. The energetic lifestyle.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I want to give a shout out and thank you to my co-hosts today, as we have Albert letting people into the Zoom room, keeping an eye on things. We have my tech crew, which includes Sherry and AJ, who helped get everything set up so that the streaming goes smoothly. And AJ being responsible for all the different platforms that we are on. Thank you, AJ. And we have Marilyn, who's doing amazing notes in the chat. So folks, if you were not here live with us in the Zoom, you missed out on a lot of amazing notes.
Oh, wow.
And we invite you to email us at questions at dailywithdoc.com and get your invitation, or even go to our website, sign up for our email list to get your invitation to our Zooms and also know what's happening and when. So thanks you everybody for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. Again, my name is Becca Dukes. This is a certified holistic health coach and certified naturopathic practitioner. I feel that it's part of my mission to help educate and empower individuals to take control of their health and make educated decisions in what goes into your body and what does not. So thank you again, Dr. Abigail Donaldson, Dr. Michael Donaldson. Greatly appreciate your knowledge, and we look forward to having you back with us soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a great one.
Thank you. You as well. And
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel